Welcome to the Dating After Divorce podcast. I'm your host, Shade Curry, and I believe every divorced woman deserves a romantic relationship where she feels safe, loved, and cherished. You can create the most amazing life after divorce, and I will teach you how. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dating After Divorce podcast. I am Shade Curry. So glad to be here with you today. Okay, this episode will probably be kind of short. I wanted to introduce you and offer you a new resource that I created for my clients. It is called the 50 Green Flags of a Healthy Relationship, or the 50 Green Flags of a Healthy Partner, whichever way it resonates with you. So I created this resource because I found out that for many of my clients, when we started working, they did not have a very clear frame of reference for a healthy relationship. Many of them had not experienced a very healthy, loving, nourishing, romantic relationship for any length of time, or at least not for a really, really long time. 95% of my clients are divorced women between the ages of 40 and I would say 63. And for most of them, they'd been in long-term marriages. Some had been in shorter-term marriages if they got married a little bit later. But many of them had been in long-term relationships. So, for 10, 15, 20, even 30 years, their frame of reference for a romantic relationship was this toxic, distant, cold, otherwise not a healthy situation. And I think we don't realize just how much our environment and our experiences impact what the material that our brain works off of. So what I found out was I would say, hey, let's create your ideal partner profile. And for many of them, their ideal partner list consisted of not my ex, right? So they would take everything that their ex did wrong, and then they would say, okay, I just don't want someone who does this. I don't want someone who doesn't show up for fun things. I don't want someone who ruins holidays. And I was like, but your brain, you're almost like reprogramming your brain to keep looking at your ex, to keep looking at what is wrong and what is bad. And we all know that what we focus on grows, right? Like what our brains are like, they're like a hunting dog, right? And you give the dog a whiff of what it should look for, and it follows that scent. And so when you don't have a healthy, positive frame of reference for the relationship you're looking for, your brain as a hunting dog just keeps looking for what it was programmed to do already, what it was programmed to find before. And I think that's something that we just haven't been aware of. Now, as a coach, and someone who went through years of recovery after my own divorce, I sort of knew this intuitively, like it was just part of my growth process. But over the last 4 years, I've found that, not everyone knows this, and it's not intuitive, and it's very important. So I had one of my early sessions with my clients was always like, okay, let's talk about what do you think of healthy relationships? What do you know of it? And then I have other tools like the Good Man Scavenger Hunt, retraining your emotional imprint. I have other tools that they practice that helps sort of like change what their brain is looking for. But then I also had recently just said, I'm just going to create a list so that they know. Let's just start there. And then they can see whether or not they need the additional tools to change their frame of reference. So I put this together a few weeks ago for one of my clients. I shared it with my email list, and I shared it with my other clients in the Dating After Divorce Academy. And then I thought, I think it would be really good to share it on the podcast as well and give my podcast listeners an opportunity to really see what a healthy relationship should be. There are 50 qualities on this list. So a couple of them have a little bit of overlap, but overall, it's an amazing list. And I think it will give you so much clarity on your dating journey. Sometimes, and I love that I have 50 on there because I have talked to women who are like, well, he brought me takeout that one time when I was super busy, and he texts me every morning and every evening. So I know he's showing effort. And I was like, well, yes, that is positive, but it is such a tiny bit of effort compared to what you need. A healthy relationship requires that you and your partner show up with every single one of the items on this list. Now, nobody's perfect, so no one's going to show up at 100% with every single item, but every single item is required. So I know that when I look at the list, I do show up with every single item on that list. However, some of them I show up at like 100%, and some of them I'm showing up maybe at like 50%, and I could do better. But you can't have a person who shows up with 0 on any one of these things. Like, so far, and if I'm wrong, I'm willing to, look at that again. But when I look at the items on this list, I'm like, no, everyone needs a partner who shows up with every single quality on this list to some degree. And many of my clients were choosing men prior to working with me who showed up with maybe 4 items on the list, and they were like at a 0 for the other 46 items on the list. So I'm sharing this with you because I think it will really, really help you to understand what it takes to create a healthy relationship. I shared this on Instagram, and one of my followers commented and said, but is this really realistic to expect someone to have all of these? And I want to answer that with a resounding yes. So when I created this list, I didn't get it from a textbook or a book or whatever. I looked at my relationship, my husband, and how he shows up. And I looked at my clients who are now in happy, healthy, loving relationships. And I looked at the women who I have interviewed on the podcast who have been divorced and found loving relationships again that are long-term. So you're talking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30 years in a healthy relationship after divorce. And so this list is based on somewhere between 60 and 100 women that I have talked to, work with, including myself. And so these are living, breathing men that, and women, actually. A few of the people that I have interviewed on the podcast are in non-heterosexual relationships, and they are in healthy relationships. So, but the majority are based on men that my clients and guests and friends have met after divorce and remarried after divorce or repartnered with after divorce. So this is not a theoretical list. It's not an imaginary list. It's not a fantasy. This is what it looks like to create a healthy relationship. So I would love for you to either go to my website, SadeCurry.com. That's spelled S like Sam, ADECURRY.com. There is no H in Sade. It's just SADE. So go to SadeCurry.com, and either the pop-up will give you the opportunity to sign up for that, or right at the top of the website, you can click the link, put your email in, and you will get the checklist in your email box. You, once you have this list and you look at maybe your dating journey and your past relationships or your current relationship, and you do go through the checklist, if this sounds like a relationship that you want, I really do want to offer that I have the tools that will help you reset the way you think about relationships so that you are responding differently and choosing differently. It will also, working with me will also give you a process that helps you find this kind of man. Because even if you are ready and you do know that this is want, you may not be quite on the path that leads you directly to that kind of person. So that is my offer for you today. The checklist is 100% complimentary when you join the email list. And then you have the opportunity to schedule a call with me if you want to talk about finding this relationship for yourself. All right. Thank you for your time and attention today. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening today. If you are ready to get married after divorce, I want to invite you to download my free 8-video training specifically designed to help divorced women date with ease and get married again. Head over to SadeCurry.com to get started. That's SadeCurry.com. I'll see you inside.